Okay, leading off our driver availabilities this weekend at Pocono Raceway, we're pleased to be joined by our points leader. That's Kevin Harvick. He drives the number 29 Shell Pennzoil Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. Kevin, 2 wins on the season. You've been up there at the top of the points really as long as I can remember. Your thoughts about racing here at Pocono, a place that you're seeking your first victory?
Yeah, we had a great race here at the first race this year. So obviously we ran well last week, so should be a good weekend for us. I enjoy driving the track, and it's fun to try to get your car set up just because the corners are so different, and you had some bumps and things to make everything mean something. So it's not like Indy last week where everything's dead smooth. You gotta have some character in the racetrack to work on this week.
Okay, Kevin, thank you. We've got a couple of wireless microphone runners back there in the back. We've got Angela, and we have Gretchen, right? Good. Okay, raise your hands, and we'll bring you the wireless mic if you have a question for Kevin Harvick. Raise your hand, state your name and who you're with, please. Who's got the first question for Kevin? Pockrass, right there. Thank you. Pop your mic on there. Is it on? Go ahead.
Can you talk about going back and forth to Iowa? You are, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what is anybody going to practice your car and stuff tomorrow?
Yeah, David Mayhew's going to practice the car, and we'll go tomorrow after practice. So it's pretty simple, really. We were going to go practice, but you just can't make the practice tonight, whenever it is. So cool. It's just kind of a long ways to fly a couple hours for an hour of practice. So we'll just head up tomorrow.
Who's David? I mean, as far as
that's your job, isn't it? Thought you knew everything.
What do you like about David? Why would you put him in your car to practice?
He's had a lot of laps there in the West Series cars and won a race there last year, and that's why.
Who has the next question for Kevin? Over here on the far left.
Hey, Kevin. David Newton, ESPN.com. It's announced earlier this week about a couple drivers being fined for comments they made publicly. What are your thoughts on that, with NASCAR going to the Have At It boys and trying to open things up and then giving fines for drivers making comments?
Well, I think if you got up here and said ESPN sucked, you'd get fired. So, in the end, it's everyone's responsibility to make sure that the sport is going in the right direction. And Have At It boys on the racetrack is different than off the racetrack and having open reign on whatever you want to say about the sport, because last I checked, most of us wouldn't be near as lucky having the jobs that we have if we didn't have this sport. So it's partially responsibility of all of us to make sure that it goes in the right direction. So if you got something to say, it's very easy to pick up the phone or walk over to the trailer or go express your feelings to somebody, and it's not the right place to do it through this room.
Go ahead, young lady.
Courtney Harrison from WNEP in Scranton. I read an article in Sports Illustrated that they guys did a round table, and they were talking about how Pocono is one of the more dangerous courses here that you guys run. What's your take on that?
Well, I think everybody's obviously talked about the soft walls and everything. I think talking with the guys at the racetrack this week, they obviously have a great plan as to fixing the walls and upgrading the catch fences and all those things. So I'm sure the guys from the racetrack, I'm pretty sure that they've shared with most everybody, but I'm pretty sure that they'd share with you guys exactly what their plans are to work on that. And just with 7 weeks in between the races, it was hard to put that plan into place in between these two races. So it's a huge undertaking for the racetrack to spend the amount of money that they're going to spend with the upgrades that they're going to have. And I'm glad to see that they have a plan to do that.
Go ahead, Jake.
Jay Pennell with FrontStretch.com. When you look at last week's race, you come home second. Is it almost disappointing where you are in the points, knowing that you don't really have to worry about chasing? Right now, it's just going out there and worrying about wins. When you come up short like that, is it almost frustrating, or how do you look at that?
Well, I think obviously to finish second is, I'm really happy that we're really disappointed that we finished second last week. So it shows how far we've come from last year. But having the year last year, you don't get too wound up or disappointed for finishing second, because a lot of places we couldn't run 22nd last year. So you take it and you move on. Obviously we've won that race before, so you know what it's like, and you know the prestige that comes with winning at the Brickyard, and that's where the disappointment comes from, and just but you move on and you come here and you hope that you have the same opportunity again, and we've capitalized on a couple times this year on winning races like that, and a couple of them we've lost. So it's just part of the sport, and it's just what racing's all about. I mean, if the caution doesn't come out, we drive away winning a race. Jamie's car doesn't take off the first time. My car took off the first time. The second time, mine didn't take off, and his did. So it's just you wish you knew why, but it's just one of those deals.